So I recently talked about how I first got started in business and some of the things and some of the challenges that I went through. And one of the things that I talked about that really helped me propel forward was a mental fast. So in today's video, I'm going to be covering 3 tips that you can use to be successful if you're going to do a mental fast. And we're going to be talking about it coming up next. Hey, what's up guys, it's Diana here with Entree Woman TV, helping transition your passion into the business that you love. And on this channel, I do small business development tips, as well as video marketing tips to help you really start and grow your business. So if that's something up your alley, definitely consider subscribing. So a recent study by Pew Research that was done on January 2018 of this year actually stated that 68% of US adults actually use Facebook. And they also stated that 74% of US adults that use Facebook admit that they use it more than once per day. And of that 74%, that grouping, 51% of them stated that they use it multiple times per day. So it's no question that social media is just a part of our daily lives. Most people check emails when they first wake up, or maybe they check in to see what's going on as far as text messages and things like that. And the studies and facts are there to show that. So it can be super easy to get distracted mentally when it comes to the things that's going on social media, as well as in your regular life, your job, your family, your kids, just everything on top of when you want to add a business to that. So today I'm going to be talking about 3 ways to be successful if you're deciding to do a mental fast. So first things first, let's talk about what is a mental fast. Well, when I first was introduced to mental fasting, it is basically you have 2 goals. The first goal is that you want to just separate yourself and just really get rid of all the distractions and just completely minimize them as much as possible. Second thing is to have a singular point of focus. And so when I was introduced to it, it was basically cutting out radio, cutting out TV, cutting out all these different things that were distracting me, keeping me from learning the personal development things that I needed to learn, read the books, listen to the audiobooks, go through the programs, conferences, and all of that stuff. So basically, it's just those 2 points when you're going into mental fasting. Basically, there are other things that you can do, but at the same time, those are the 2 points, but let's get into the tips. Okay, so tip number 1 is no TV, no radio, no social media. Now, if you have not developed your business yet, then you can completely cut out social media. If you have started your business yet, then you may have to incorporate some things, but you may want to go through a period where you completely omit it out, or at least for the first 30 days. Now, I'm saying no TV, no radio. That's even if the latest season of Game of Thrones or Walking Dead is on. You are completely cutting all of those things out. And here's the reason why. It's because, again, like the studies show, when you first get up, most people, they're checking their emails, their text messages, or sending some back and forth with family and friends, or even if it's business related. And they're also checking social media, seeing what's in the know. And you have to separate yourself from the things that you really enjoy so that you can begin to draw back some of the time that you really don't have, or you're saying that you don't have. And so it's creating time, and it's also minimizing those distractions of things that may not matter. You know, if it's something that's visually entertaining, watch something that is educational and pertinent to your business. And same thing for audio programming, and then social media, completely cut that out at least for the first 30 days. So that is tip number 1. Tip number 2, distracting relationships. You want to omit completely if you can, or get rid of some of those toxic relationships. And that can be kind of difficult, but you may want to limit those if you're living with that person. So it's really 2 things that you can do if you're living with that person that may be toxic to just your attitude, your emotions. If every time you talk to them, they got a sad story, that's somebody that you typically don't want to spend as much time with while you're going through this mental fast. And you may find out that that relationship is not something you want to continue, period. When I went through my mental fast, that's absolutely some things that I found, where it's like certain people, it's like, why am I really hanging around this person? If I wouldn't let somebody get in my car or come in my house and leave their trash everywhere, I'm not going to let them do the same thing with my mental space and just being able to come and dump their negative life and world all on me, whether it's via phone or in person. So limit those toxic relationships. If you live with that person, there's 2 things that you can do. First thing is that you can create office hours if you're doing this from home. Most of what I talk about is based for home-based businesses. So you want to have office hours and really get that time scheduled out so that this is a dedicated time. Under no circumstances are you to be disrupted. You must honor this time first before somebody else is going to honor that time. Now, beware. The people that you live with, especially if they're a toxic person, they're going to try to disrupt you. They know you. They know the things that are your buttons and your triggers, and they may try to push them, so have some patience with them. But I would definitely tell you, make sure that when you're going through this mental fast that you give that person a little grace. They may decide that they want to get on board with you, and that's tip number 2, is just actually go ahead and invite them into what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish. You never know, they may take you up on that offer. So tip number 3 is to set a daily digestible goal. And what that means is that every day you want to be breaking down what it is you're supposed to be focusing on, what it is you're supposed to be accomplishing, even if it's just one thing. Now, if you're doing, let's say, a 30-day mental fast, you want to make sure that that 30-day period is dedicated to accomplishing maybe one big thing. And every week for, let's say, those 4 weeks, if you get a 5th week, then great. But every week you want to make sure that you have something dedicated to what you're supposed to be doing. For example, when I went on one of my previous 30-day fasts was when I was initially learning how to create a website. Now, it was so many different things I had no idea about, and I just needed to figure out this entire world of building a website. So the end result goal, the big goal, was going to be to be able to create my own website and not have to hire out somebody or, hire a website manager or something like that. So week 1 was, getting to know the hosting company and figure out all the ins and outs for that. Week 2 is around learning WordPress and how all of this whole system works together. And every step, every day, I'm doing something towards that end result week goal. Week 3, I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I get these two to connect and really read together, and what are some of the key terms or phrases that I maybe need to know. Week 4 is how do I get this thing online, figure out some website copy, stuff like that will make what I'm thinking up here and what I'm doing in my business, easily conveyed to my website visitor. And so, by the end of those 4 weeks, you have a successful website where you're able to drive traffic, get people to sign up for online courses and sign up for your email list. And so, at the end of that 30-day period, especially if you have a focus and a goal that's digestible, that's small, it's not something super huge, just something small. What is your focus on for the day? And then what are you supposed to accomplish for the day? And giving yourself some grace if you maybe missed the mark a day or so, but every week accomplish something. So that is tip number 3. So overall, that's pretty much all it takes to get through a 30-day mental fast. Really set your eyes on one major goal, one major something that you need to learn, that you need to take time out, that you need to research so that you can accomplish that thing, breaking it down per week, per day, and before you know it, that goal is accomplished. And that's how I go through my 30, 60, and even did my 6-month mental fast, as I talked about in the video where I was just sharing how I got started in business. And it's just super important to make sure at the end of the day you're accomplishing the things that you really need to do in your small business, because trying to just fit a business on top of what you're already doing typically may not work. You have to create space and see what needs to go and what can stay in your business and in your life. And sometimes that includes people, sometimes that includes, maybe toxic jobs, and you may need to switch jobs to a company that's more conducive for where you're trying to go and what you're trying to do in your life. So I'm curious, have you ever done a mental fast before, or have you done any kind of fasting before? Let me know down in the comments down below. Thanks for checking out today's video. For the video where I shared how I got started in business, make sure you click or tap the screen right there. And for another video on Entre Women TV, make sure you click or tap the screen right there. But as always, my friends, live with passion. I'll see you guys on the next video.